Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Wizards at Work. That's Julie,
That's Dylan.
and we're clocking in. Today we're going to talk about the additional subclasses that were added in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. We're going to mention our favorites, what we like about them, and briefly mention what some of the class features do. Right.
This episode will be a two-parter, I believe, because there's so much in Tasha's that we can only say so much.
Yeah. You can only say so much within 1 hour, so... We're going to start going in alphabetical order. We're starting with Barbarian.
Oh, that's me.
That's you.
Hello. I'm the Barbarian today.
Mm-hmm.
I think you know which Barbarian I chose, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wild Magic Barbarian. Let me pull up my notes. So, I find Wild Magic Barbarian really cool. So, my notes aren't working. There we go. Sorry. Okay. So the first thing you get is magic awareness, which is when you choose this path at 3rd level, as an action, you can open your awareness to the presence of concentrated magic. Until the end of your next turn, you'll know the location of any spell or magic item within 60 feet of you that isn't behind total cover. When you sense a spell, you learn which school of magic it belongs to. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Thoughts on that one, Dylan?
Kind of bad.
Really?
Yeah. It's not that good.
Yeah,
It doesn't really give you... It's not useful. What do I learn when I learn that? What information do I get that's useful when I learn the school of magic of a spell?
When I read this... Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. Also didn't really have much of a vibe to it. When I read this, I immediately thought like an airport security dog.
No, yeah, literally.
But I mean, I also find it really interesting, I guess, when that you're so full of magic that you're bursting at the seams that you can sense there's a bit of electricity of magic in the air, and you just like find the thread and kind of trail it.
Yeah, it's interesting for flavor, but in actual application, it's not good. It's kind of like
it does have to be within 60 feet of you and isn't behind total cover.
Yeah. So you can't, anything that's hiding doesn't work.
I guess so, yeah. But still,
it needs to be something that is obvious that you can see, and if you can see it and they describe it as a D&D player, you already know what it is. Like, if I can describe something, what's happening in front of me, because it has to happen in front of you, basically.
Oh, so you're saying you can use your eyes?
You can use your eyes. And as a player, understand what it is. But yeah, magic awareness, it's kind of like, it's basically a throwaway feature. It does nothing, really.
I think it's cool for flavor. It's really interesting
But
to
it
me.
does nothing.
You
are
mean.
You can do this with an Arcana check.
Yes, and you can do it with your eyes, but still, it's interesting. Okay, but we don't care about that, really. That's just like...
No, we don't.
That's the appetizer. That's the appetizer.
You need to care about that. That is a lackluster feature in every way imaginable.
It's the appetizer. We're getting to the main course right now, you know?
The appetizer was rotten fish on a plate. Let's see what the main course is.
And cats will enjoy that.
Yeah, I'm not a cat, unfortunately.
Okay. Wild Surge. So, also at 3rd level, the magical energy rolling inside you sometimes erupts from you. Once again, like the electricity metaphor I did earlier. When you enter your rage, roll on the wild magic table to determine the magical effect produced. similar to wild magic, obviously. There are some really good ones, some really bad ones. I'm not going to go through all, I believe 8 of them. Yeah, there's 8 of them. I'm not going to go through all of them. If you're interested, look at them yourself. I'm just going to say like, my favorite 2. So if you roll a 3, an intangible spirit, which looks like a pixie, or whatever you choose, pretty much, appears within 5 feet of one creature of your choice that you can see within 30 feet of you. At the end of the current turn, the spirit explodes. That's cool.
Yeah.
You pretty much just manifest a bomb.
Mm-hmm.
And each creature within 5 feet of you must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 1d6 force damage. Until the rage ends, you can use this effect again, summoning another spirit on each of your turns as a bonus action. You know what this reminds me of?
Mm.
I don't know if you remember the Super Mario Bros. DS game, the minigame section.
Yeah.
The Ba-Bomb minigame.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's such a very niche thing, but it just reminds me of the Ba-Bomb minigame where you have to sort the Ba-Bombs.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways. And number 8 is really cool as well. If you want to take a look at that, you can. But I chose number 6. So, until your rage ends, you are surrounded by multicolored protective lights, adding +1 to AC. And while within 10 feet of you, each of your allies get the same bonus. I'm a big fan of AC, but I'm a big fan of AC boosting.
Me too.
Yeah, especially allies. I built a character who did die, so Rip Octo, you will be missed, who was primarily made to be a living shield, I guess. And all the things I chose were AC boosting for my allies, which wasn't helpful because all my allies were range people. So no wonder Octo is not with us anymore.
This is good. I think the 6th level wild magic is really good if you're like in a party with mostly melee characters. Mm-hmm. It's like super good because you'll all be up at the front together.
And I think we're overlooking the fact that you just become a disco ball, and I think that's really cool. It's really funny. Like imagine you're fighting the big bad evil guy, and
you start glowing.
Yeah, I mean, what highlighter are you using?
Yeah, seriously.
Thank you. Okay, now we're going back to some other things, like bolstering magic. You can regain some spell slots, which is interesting. One of my favorite things personally, because as a primarily spellcaster player, regaining spell slots is something I hold very near and dear to my heart.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that you can do it for yourself or a companion is really good, because most of the time you'll probably be doing it to a spellcasting like ally. Oh
yeah, definitely. And even though it's just like a level 1, it's still really...
It's still good. Level 1 spells are good.
Yeah. And it also can help with ability or attack rolls. So overall, I really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Unstable backlash. So if you fail a saving throw or take damage while raging, you can use a reaction to roll on the wild magic table, and the effect happens immediately, which can go either way, I guess. If you already have a really good effect going, you probably don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But it also kind of reminds me of Hellish Rebuke. If you're a tiefling, yeah, you know what Hellish Rebuke is. If you're a tiefling, you can just like take a reaction to hurt the enemy that's hurting you. Mm-hmm. Even though it's like nothing like it, I think it's just it can change battle in a sense, because I think the wild magic sphere, I guess, with like sorcerers and I guess barbarians now, their whole thing is just adding an extra chess piece on the board that shouldn't belong, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
Controlled Surge. You can roll twice on wild magic and pick either dice. Yeah, it's that. And
I think it'd be cool if you could roll twice and pick both.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah, I get that, yeah. It's the capstone too.
I think
14th level.
It's for the subclass, yeah. I think that the best way to do wild magic is if you allow it to happen as much as possible. Like, I always house rule wild magic sorcerers that you don't need to roll a 1 to trigger your wild magic. You can just do it every time you do like a blasting spell.
I feel like with wild magic, controlled chaos is the way to go.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people don't utilize it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Wild magic, people get kind of, I don't want to say scared, but like kind of like wary
Well,
of wild magic.
the thing is, so when someone wants to play wild magic, they really want to, but when they play wild magic, their party usually doesn't want them to.
Yeah. I
Because
feel like
wild
we should
magic
do...
can be, like, sabotagey.
Yeah, I feel like we should do an all wild magic campaign using like homebrew druid wild magic and stuff like that.
I would love that.
And everyone just a version of wild magic and just see how fast we can die. Okay, so that was my wild magic barbarian quick little look through from Tasha's. Overall, I think it's alright. I think it's interesting. I think I like the little aspect of some magic to a primarily already melee class.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Dylan?
I think that is the funnest of the barbarian classes. Probably, I would say.
Why didn't you take it then?
Because mine's funner.
More fun.
Yeah. Well, don't make me say your mother. I just had to resist the urge to say it. You're welcome, by the way. Moving on. We can move on to Bard now.
Yes.
Bards get extra spells. And the extra spells for these two subclasses. Oh, hold on. Which one do I want to pick? I want to pick...
Did you not pre-pick your spell classes?
No, I did, but I'm questioning it. Because the
Just
Bard ones are so cool.
Wanna roll a 1d2? You have a coin. That's
No.
just 1d2 is just flipping a coin.
Roll a 1d2. You mean flip a coin?
Listen. Shut up. But technically,
Crazy.
flipping a coin is a 1d3 because you can land on the.
Okay, I have picked.
Okay.
For Bard, I have decided that I want to go with... Actually, guess.
Okay.
You know I'm a metagamer, but you also know I'm obsessed with flavor, so...
Let me pull up the Tasha's Bards then.
We have Eloquence and Creation.
Oh, Creation. No, Eloquence. Wait, no.
Exactly,
I know
that's
your
what I'm
issue.
saying. I'm a meta slave in this game, but I also love flavor, so I need you to guess. It's very difficult.
The thing is, I'm playing a Bard of Creation in an upcoming campaign, so I know how much I love it and how good it is. But also, I did call you a Bard of Eloquence when we were doing our personal. Yeah, so there's a bit of history with both. It's like I'm cheating on the other if I pick one.
Mm-hmm.
Eloquence.
Nope, Creation.
It was a 1d2 chance.
It was a 50-50.
1d2, yes.
Okay. The Bard of Creation is so cool to me. The idea of animating objects to like fight with you, and they have a stat block, and you can make materials like manifest at 14th level. I think you can just manifest like materials in front of you, and you can manifest materials for spells.
Dylan.
And you're allowed to.
Yeah, Dylan. You're a real material girl.
I'm material girl.
You're a material girl.
Literally me. Starting with the college is the College of Creation, and you get motive potential. All the bards get their thing at their level that alters their dice. And you can utter a note from the Song of Creation and create a motive potential that orbits a creature that you choose. And it's invulnerable, and it lasts until your Bardic Inspiration die is gone. And so when the creature uses your Bardic Inspiration, this little mote provides an additional effect, and it depends on what they use the dice for. So on an ability check, the creature can roll the die again and choose which roll to use. That's about it. So you get to choose between two different things. So like you roll one die and then you get to roll again and then pick whichever one is higher for your ability check.
Yeah.
For an attack roll, you add the die. You roll again and add the die to the attack roll. And the target and each creature of your choice you can see within 5 feet of it must succeed on a con save against your spell save or take thunder damage because the mote of energy explodes. And the damage is equal to the second roll. You have to roll again and you'll get the damage of your thunder.
I'm starting to see a theme of Tasha's summoning something that explodes.
Yeah. Saving throws. On a saving throw, after you roll the die, and it gets added to the saving throw, the mote vanishes, and the creature gains temp HP equal to the number rolled on the die. Plus your charisma modifier. So that's some pretty good bonus HP. Then you get your performance of creation feature, which is like the bread and butter. And you pick a non-magical item within 10 feet of you, and it must appear on a surface or in a liquid that can support it. And the gold value of the item can't be more than 20 times your bard level. And the item must be medium or smaller. The item is like, it's so cute. I love the flavor. The flavor is that you can kind of hear the item playing music whenever it moves. It's super cute. It's like twinkling and shining, and there's like little music playing.
Mm-hmm.
You can only use it, I think, once per long rest, and you can only have one item created by this at a time. But you can use it again if you expend a second level spell slot. And if you do it again, if you do it like a second time after creating an item, the previous item vanishes. And the size increases when you reach certain levels. So at 6th level it becomes large items, and at 14th level it becomes huge items. And the dancing item has a stat block. It's mostly for like attacking things, and it's immune to like poison and psychic because it's just an item, stuff like that.
Or you can do a full-on scene from Beauty and the Beast.
You could just do Beauty and the Beast. That is so true.
The options here are limitless.
There are limits.
Well,
they're not quite limitless.
They're limitless.
Yeah, sure.
You just have to think hard enough.
At 6th level, there's the animating performance, which I really like animating performance. I think that performance of creation is like, it's good, but it's actually not great. Initially, I would say, because you can only use it once per long rest, and you have to expend a second level spell slot to do it again, which is kind of not worth it, because second level spells are really good and useful. So, I would say it's not super worth it. What do you think?
It really depends on the circumstance, I believe.
Yeah. I think in a situation where it's used, like in a fight situation where it's like super useful to have an extra body on the field, that would make sense to use it again, but like in most cases it's probably better to just cast a certain second level spell as opposed to expend it to cast performance of creation again. Later, when it gets later, it can make more sense because like the gold value goes up and the weight, the size class goes up.
And the reason why I'm playing a bardic creation for this campaign specifically is because it's set on Earth, so I'm using the gold to using the gold to Earth money conversion. So this is why the ice cream truck is very doable.
Yeah.
So it also
the ice cream truck wouldn't make sense on any other campaign.
No, it could be like an ice cream carriage.
Wagon.
Yeah, an ice cream wagon.
Everything's melted. There's no cooling.
Ray of Frost.
Okay.
There may be some casualties, but the ice cream's still there.
The ice cream is... It's not even ice cream, it's just a block of ice that you can't quite bite into because you used Ray of Frost on it. Cone of cold, perhaps.
I'm an entrepreneur.
Not a smart one, but an entrepreneur nonetheless. So
it is what it is.
Animating performance, you get at 6th level. You can animate a larger, smaller, non-magical item within 30 feet of you that's not worn or carried. And it uses the dancing item stat block. And it's friendly to you and your companions. It shares your initiative count. And if you don't do anything with it, it takes the dodge action. And if you're incapacitated, it still dances around, but it only uses the dodge action. Or no, if you're incapacitated, it can take any action of its choice, not just dodge. And when you use Bardic Inspiration, you can command the item as a part of the same action, which is very cool.
Do you think Santa is a College of Creation bard?
No, I think he is Path of Vengeance Paladin.
Cool. We'll talk about that one later, because I do want to hear your reasoning.
When you use your bardic inspiration, you can command the item as the same bonus action. Once you animate an item with the feature, you can't do so until you finish a long rest, or if you expend a 3rd level spell slot or higher to use the feature again. You can only have one item animated at a time. If you try to animate something else, it unanimates the previous item, which this is the same limitations of Performance of Creation, except now it requires an even higher spell slot to recast it, which is getting pricey. It's getting very pricey, considering the spell slots that bards have. Then at 14th level, you get Creative Crescendo, which is like... It kind of pushes this one to like a point where it's... This subclass, a point where it's like way more useful. When you use Performance of Creation, you can create more than one item at once. The number of items equals your Charisma modifier, minimum of 2 items. If you create an item that would exceed that number, you choose which of the previous items that disappears, and only one of these items can be the max size you can create, so the rest must be small or tiny. So you can create like a car, and then 5 butter knives, you know?
And you can tape them to the car.
And tape them to the front of the car, and then Mad Max.
We are so smart. Or just a really bad play of the Cars movie.
Shh. Don't tell them. You are also no longer limited by gold value when creating items with Performance of Creation. So, you can... And at this point, you can create huge items. So you could create a huge pile of diamonds worth 1,000 gold each and infinitely cast Revivify.
Or a really big ice cream wagon.
Or a supermassive ice cream wagon, and you start an empire of ice cream. But yeah, what do you think? Which one of the two would you have picked, Eloquence or Creation? Probably Creation, right?
Bardic Creation all the way. I love Bardic Creation. It's so cool.
I think, like, gaming-wise, Eloquence is objectively better, because Bardic Creation has, like, a lot of limitations, and it's, like, pricey, and it doesn't really get super good until later levels, but...
Definitely.
It has way more flavor, I think, than Eloquence.
It's way more interesting. I feel bad for saying that, but it's just...
Yeah. There's more layers to it. There's more, like, versatility.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And also, it makes you really have to think outside the box, because you do have those limitations that you'll have to work around, and before you're able to do the big fun things, you have to work on the small things.
Yep.
So before you get your ice cream wagon, you'll probably just have to make an ice cream stall, and that's okay.
A single bucket of ice cream.
And it takes a while to get up to your ice cream wagon.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to clerics. Take it away.
I don't have cleric.
You don't? I have cleric? I do have cleric.
You're the one that picked who has
I'm
what.
I'm so excited to talk about clerics. I forgot we're
At least
not
one
going,
of us
like,
is.
I forgot we're not going flip-flop back and
Yeah.
forth. Okay. Guys, I cannot talk about these cleric subclasses enough. Holy shit. When Tasha's added these 3 domains, it was clear who the winner was. And I think you know, because I talk about how busted it is all the time. But what do you think I picked?
If it was busted, the cleric wouldn't have died.
The cleric was an awfully built cleric that had negative charisma.
Well...
Or not negative charisma, negative wisdom.
I was gonna say, I mean...
Negative wisdom. So, don't say that was the subclass issue. The fact is, the cleric still supported us, even with a negative wisdom stat. So, who do you think? Which subclass was it, Julie? Tell the people.
I mean, the most mid one, I guess. The most basic, most boring, but most...
Shut up.
Most, like...
There is so much flavor.
The most C tier.
There is so much flavor in the Twilight Domain. I hate you.
Yeah,
It is so good.
Yeah. It's really
What do you mean? It's a Twilight Domain. The Twilight Domain is a domain. Listen, if there's any domain I can get behind, it's a domain. It's a faith that's focused on mood lighting and evening gowns. Okay? Like, if there's anything I'm going to choose, it's going to be that one.
Wait, now you're selling me a bit. Whoa, give me the pitch again.
It's a faith focused on mood lighting and evening wear. and the subclass is busted. So, like, it's not even just, like, aesthetic. It's also, like, way, like, super strong. If you have one Twilight Domain Cleric with a bunch of frontliners on your team, you literally never die. You never die. It's so strong. And I'm not kidding. People have done it.
Well, if you love it so much, why don't you play it?
Because I don't play clerics. L. Wah, 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 wah.
Charlie Brown's parents be like.
That's what I hear whenever you tell me to play a cleric. Wah, 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 wah. Honestly, I probably will sometime. My first character was technically a cleric, but that campaign was whack. First campaign ever. Yeah. They get domain spells. And the domain spells are insanely good. It's not even the features. It's also the spells that they get access to. They get Fairy Fire, Sleep, Moonbeam, Invisibility, Aura of Vitality, Leomund's Tiny Hut, Aura of Life, Greater Invisibility, Circle of Power, and Mislead. Those spells are amazing. That's an amazing additional spell list. This is something that Tasha's does very well. Whenever it adds extra spells to a subclass, it usually does it very well. And I appreciate that spell list. They get bonus proficiencies with martial weapons and heavy armor, which is not uncommon for clerics. Martial weapons are, but heavy armor's not. The Eyes of Night feature is really one of the most busted things in the game. It's a first level feature, you get it right away. And you have dark vision out to a range of 300 feet. That's insane.
Well,
and
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I don't think
what?
an average person can just see 300 feet.
Well, Twilight Domain clerics can.
You don't just grow binoculars in your brain. Like, that's not...
You have dark vision out to 300 feet. So if you're in a forest, a dark forest, and looking around, you can see as if it was day for 300 feet out.
You don't actively see the 300 feet. You just see...
You don't see 300 feet. But if you're looking down a stretch that's 300 feet, you can see the whole thing clearly. That is so useful. If a whole map is dark, and there's an enemy that benefits from being in the dark, you see the entire battle map, and they can't benefit from it.
You can also just, like, turn on a torch. Like, I mean, there's other ways
to get light. A torch doesn't give you light for the whole room.
Okay, what about...
This basically does. And also, so you see dim light if it were bright light, and darkness if it were dim light. And as an action, you can magically share the vision of this feature with willing creatures you can see within 10 feet of you, up to a number of creatures equal to your wisdom modifier. You can share the dark vision with up to 5 other creatures. And the dark vision lasts for a whole hour. What do you mean, That's insane!
It really ruins, like, the atmosphere of, like, glow-in-the-dark parties, you know?
Oh, it doesn't! Well, usually the glow-in-the-dark parties can see dark vision already.
No, I meant, like, glow-in-the-dark, like glow sticks.
Okay, I'm talking about gaming. This is useful.
And I'm talking about, you know, like, party vibes and, like, maybe
we need to be talking about the same thing, because you can talk about party aesthetic all you want, but this is busted. Just because it doesn't fit with the aesthetic doesn't mean it's not busted.
Like, imagine you're playing hide and seek in the dark. That person's just a cheater.
If you're playing hide and seek in the dark, it's not hide and seek. You can't
Someone
see anything.
Someone has played hide and seek in the dark.
That's not... I have. That's not hide... That's just... being in the dark. You can't see anything when you're in the dark. You'd stand in the middle of a room and play hide and seek in the dark because you can't see anything. It is useful. You can make jokes about my subclass all you want. I say it, you're like, You're like, it's okay, because it doesn't fit your aesthetic, even though the aesthetic for the class is also perfect. By the way, the aesthetic is so nice and the flavor is so good. And mechanically it's busted. It's insane. And you're a hater, and you're intentionally being contrarian because you like to annoy me. And this subclass is busted, and ever since I mentioned it was busted, you're a hater. From the first moment I said, oh my god, this is busted, you're like, I don't think it's busted.
Yeah, it's kind of mid.
I remember.
It's kind of mid.
I hate you. They get Vigilant Blessing, The knight has taught you to be vigilant, and as an action, one creature you touch, possibly yourself, gets advantage on the next initiative roll that they make. It ends immediately after they roll, or if they use the feature again. That's really good. That's super good. Their channel divinity, Twilight Sanctuary, is the best channel divinity in the game. You can use your channel divinity to create an area within 30 feet centered on you, and it moves with you. It's filled with dim light, so it makes the whole area dim light. So if anyone needs to do something to you, they can't see you because it's dim light. So they have a disadvantage on stuff. The sphere moves with you, and whenever a creature, including you, ends its turn in the sphere, you can grant one of the benefits of either temp HP equal to 1d6 plus cleric level, or you can end one effect, causing it to be charmed or frightened. That is so good. Are you gonna disagree with me for the sake of disagreeing with me? Or are you going to open your eyes and be enlightened to the Twilight Sanctuary?
I kind of zoned out, so I don't really remember what you said.
No way you just said that to me. They get Steps of Night. As an action, when you're in dim light or darkness, you can magically give yourself flying speed equal to your walking speed for a minute.
Oh, look, I can fly all of a sudden. Big look.
It's busted! It's busted! It's so good! And it's a bonus action. And you can use a bonus action a number of times equal to a proficiency bonus, and you expend uses on a long rest. That is so good. Flying speed equal to your walking speed. Insane. While you're in dim light or darkness. By the way, your channel divinity gives you dim light all around you. You channel divinity. You Steps of Night. You start flying around with an aura that shields everyone, and you can also end dangerous effects on them. That's so strong. Their Divine Strike is just a normal Divine Strike with radiant damage. Twilight Shroud at 17th level. So it's the capstone. The twilight that you summon offers a protective embrace. Your allies have half cover while in the sphere created by your Twilight Sanctuary. So when they're in the area that shields them and ends negative effects on them, they also maintain half cover. That's so good.
But you can also hide behind a rock to get half cover.
Oh my god, but you can't fly and shield and end negative effects while also being in half cover with your whole team. You have moving cover, moving dim light, flying, shielding, ending negative effects. You're doing this to annoy me, and I know you are.
What do you mean? I would never.
This subclass is insane. And that's a fact. That's a well-known fact.
Okay.
And you're being contrarian for the sake of being contrarian.
I'm not being contrarian. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you are. Then agree, because it's objectively the most busted cleric subclass in the game that can go toe-to-toe with martial classes in fighting.
It's mediocre at best.
Plus it's cleric, so it gets battlefield control, plus all of its subclass features give it support. Mediocre at best.
Okay. It was at C tier before this conversation. It's now at a very high C+.
I can't stand this anymore. I can't stand the Twilight
Domain. Are you
Domain
gonna tell HR on me?
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna tell HR on you. Whatever, dude. You're just not enlightened. Your third eye hasn't been open. Do Druid. Go ahead. You're gonna pick the worst.
I can't
Druid
be enlightened.
It's
all about darkness.
You're gonna pick the worst Druid in this list. Go ahead. We're waiting.
Okay. What Druid did I pick?
Wildfire.
Yeah, I did.
Yep. That's the second worst in this list.
Now, why? Before I begin, why do you say that?
Because Circle of Stars exists.
I know, and I'm playing a Circle of Stars Druid, and I adore Circle of Stars Druid. But I want to touch upon something else today. So, to begin, my first, 1 second, let me find my notes. Now, okay. I really enjoy playing a Circle of Stars Druid in our campaign, the one where I left the you know what's funny? The day I left, the Twilight Domain cleric died. That was funny, huh?
That's funny that was an intentionally awful Twilight Domain cleric.
I'm just saying
that you fail to recognize that person's stats were negative.
I'm just saying the
Negative.
Stars
They
Druid was away.
didn't roll stats and allocate. They picked the stat, rolled for it, and kept it. They had a 9 in wisdom.
I'm just saying, it's very funny.
You can't say anything.
I am speaking.
You can't say anything.
I am speaking. And I am
You're
saying...
speaking lies and falsehoods and fabrications.
I am not. Where are we, an ace attorney?
Yes, I am. And I object.
No. I'm just saying.
Continue.
My
your silly
still...
little circle of wildfire.
Okay,
Continue.
Okay. So, my character for our campaign is actually named Messenger, and she drives a mail truck, and she's an Asimar. And the joke is that, she's a messenger, whatever. So I have some experience with druids and Circle of Stars druid from Tasha's, but I want to do something I haven't really done before. So we're talking about Circle of Wildfire, and it's not really given enough love, to be fair. And I think it's actually very interesting once you read it. Okay, so let's start off with one big thing, the big elephant in the room. When you think about druids, what do you think of?
Plants.
Yeah, you don't really think of fire and destruction, do you?
Mm-hmm.
I find this very poetic and very beautiful, is that the Circle of Fire Druid is also about creation, but in its own right, kind of like how volcanoes work, where the eruption and afterwards, the soil is very rich with nutrients. After the destruction comes new life. And I find that very wonderful with the Circle of Wildfire Druid, and I think they've worked on that really well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
First, let's talk about the spells you get in the circle. So, for second level, you get Cure Wounds and Burning Hands. Third level, Flaming Sphere, Scorching Ray. Fifth level, Plant Growth, Revivify. Seventh, Aura of Life, Fire Shield. Ninth, Flaming Strike, and Mass Cure Wounds. Okay, now we get to the fun part.
The fun part. This is the bread and butter.
This is the fun part, because I don't know if you know this about me. I think all my D&D characters have some sort of companion with them. Even if it's not like a real companion. Like Messenger has her mail truck, or Kane has Purtus. It has... Every character I've made always had something with them, and this is a big thing with the Wildfire's Druid. And it's sort of kind of like you get your own starter Pokemon. Pretty much you only start with Charmander. At second level, you can summon the Primal Spirit bound to your soul. As an action, you can expand one use of your Wild Shape feature to summon your Wildfire Spirit rather than assuming a beast form. So you can give up your Wild Shape to get a little pal, a little friend, a little buddy.
Mm-hmm.
So, the spirit appears in an unoccupied space of your choice that you can see within 30 feet of you. Each creature within 10 feet of the spirit other than you, when it appears, must succeed on a dexterity saving throw against your spell save DC, or take 2d6 fire damage.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe if you're fighting your party nearby, don't really summon your little friend. But other than that, it's really good. The spirit is friendly to you and your companions and obey your commands. See this creature's game statistics of the wildfire. Okay, we're not talking about that. The spirit is friendly to you and your companions and obeys your commands. In combat, the spirit shares your initiative count, which is really good. But it takes the turn immediately after yours. The only action it takes on its turn is dodge action unless you take a bonus action in your turn to command it to take another action. Going back to the Pokemon trainer vibe. You know, you can do a Scorching Ray and then be like, Charmander, Flamethrower. I know D&D. I do not know Pokemon.
You're trying to think of a move.
Is that not a move?
You went,
Okay, I was just gonna say, I think it was a move.
It
the
is.
The spirit manifests for 1 hour until it's reduced to 0 hit points, and then you can use this feature to summon the spirit again, or until you die. So, it has its own stat block, which is very interesting. And of course, the damage immunity. Want to take a guess? Oh, you're so correct.
Is it... Perhaps it's immune to fire?
I think it's a very fair trade-off as well, that you can't wild shape to get it. I mean, you have to pick one or the other.
Yeah.
Really?
It balances it, but at the same time, I think it's also the issue with the subclass.
Well, you don't have to give up.
Is that you have
You
to
don't have
give
to give
up
up your
Wild
Wild Shape.
Shape. Wild Shape is so good. Wild Shape, you don't have to, but if you want to use the subclass that you've got, like the bread and butter of it, like the gimmick of it, you've got to give up your Wild Shape if you want to do it. And most of the time, I feel like, and it expends the use of your Wild Shape as well, right? So I don't know if that's like most of the time going to be worth it. Like I'm watching Critical Role right now, and I haven't seen Fern use the Wildfire Spirit a single time yet. I don't know if she will, but I haven't seen her do it at all yet. She's always done the Wild Shape because it's just so much more useful. It has a lot of applications, and like the Druid is on par, if not better, than the Rogue with Infiltration because of how good Wild Shape is. And in combat, Wild Shape has a lot of different animals that can do a lot of different things. And they have very useful things, like some of them can inflict poison, some of them can like restrain people, so like they can be very useful. In the Wildfire Spirit, it's good, but also there's a lot of fire resistance. In D&D, it's the most resisted damage type in the game. So there's a lot of limits on it gameplay-wise, but I think flavor-wise, having a Wildfire Spirit is really cute. But I would say to a player, if I was running a campaign, that if you want to have a Wildfire Spirit, but you aren't in the mood to use your Wildfire over your transformation, your Polymorph, I would say that you can just have a Wildfire Spirit, you just can't use it in combat, like for flavor, if that's the only thing.
I see.
Just pick a different subclass and have a Wildfire Spirit for flavor.
But I feel like people who pick this subclass are aware what they're getting into, and that it's either one or the other.
Yeah,
you don't really
true.
go into
It's very intentional. Yeah. It's very intentional when you pick the Wildfire Druid. So yeah, that makes sense. And also the other features are really good.
If you had a fire spirit, what would it be?
If I had a fire spirit, it would be a fire cat.
Oh.
That like lays down across my shoulders and my neck, and like is like a neck warmer.
And it's so cold out today, so that's perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, having a Wildfire Spirit would be so good to like always keep your drinks warm and stuff.
Yeah. I want to warm up my tea. I just place my cat's curled up, my Wildfire cat's curled up, so I just place the cup on the Wildfire Kitty.
It would be really bad for books,
Uh-huh.
but other than that, it's great. Mine would probably be, I think, a giant fiery bear is cool. Bear.
That's also really good.
Yeah, a bear or a fox, but I think a bear, like a flame bear, is really cool.
It does have to be a small elemental.
Okay, so it'll be like a small little fennec fox then. I'll go with that.
Yeah, that would be my second option. A fire fox.
Oh, you are
So cute.
hilarious, aren't you, buddy? You think you're so clever. You think you're so smart with your Twilight domain.
Did you know that red pandas are known as fire foxes?
I know you told me this fact before.
Yeah. I would have either a fox, a red panda, or a cat.
All right. So,
Yeah.
back to the stat block for the fire elemental. There are actions you can do. So, you can do Flame Seed, which is a ranged weapon attack. Your spell attack modifier to hit, range 60 feet. And one target you can see hit 1d6 plus fire damage. So, pretty much, your fire elemental can shoot fire. Which is cool. Pretty on brand, I guess.
Yeah. I also like the idea that it's a flame seed.
Yeah.
Little flaming seed, it goes poof, like bullet seed in Pokemon.
Or like the fire flower from Mario.
Yeah.
Fiery teleportation. It also has that. So the spirit and
That's really useful for it.
The spirit and each willing creature of your choice within 5 feet of it teleport up to 15 feet to unoccupied spaces you can see.
Mm-hmm.
Then each creature within 5 feet of the space that the spirit left must succeed on a dexterity saving throw against your spell save DC or take 1d6 fire damage.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much, you can teleport really early in game with your little friend.
Yeah.
And 6th level, Enhanced Bond. So you and your Wildfire Spirit becomes besties. You get to have like matching shirts and like you can tell each other secrets and just have like a really good bond.
Team name.
Yeah. You guys finish each other's sentences. No sentences. I actually messed that one up.
You actually said that wrong.
I did. I can't finish my own sentences.
It's okay.
It's okay. And you can add extra damage, or you can heal for 1d8 when your Wildfire Spirit is around you, and you can cast spells through it. So it's really good with teleportation aspect as well.
Yeah, so, casting spells through it is very useful. I really like casting spells through it.
Yeah. It's like...
That's a very good detail.
I just think it's cool. I just think the subclass is really cool. Now, I might be pronouncing this word wrong.
I'm waiting for it.
Cauterizing flames? Cauterizing flames?
You're so close. It's cauterizing.
Thank you. Cauterizing flames. So at 10th level, you gain the ability to turn death into magical flames that heal or incinerate. Going back to the volcano thing I mentioned earlier. When a small or larger creature dies within 30 feet of you or your Wildfire Spirit, a harmless spectral flame springs forth in the dead creature's space and flickers there for 1 minute. When a creature you can see enters that space, you can use your reaction to extinguish the spectral flame there and either heal the creature or deal fire damage to it. The healing or damage equals to 2d10 plus your wisdom modifier. You can use this reaction a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. You can regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Thoughts on that one?
I like cauterizing flames. I like it a lot.
I just really love the flavor to the subclass.
And I like that increasing the healing or the damage of things. Yes.
Very useful. And once again, when you're taking this subclass, you know it's either Wild Shape or your little friend.
Yeah, and
most people would be.
They could have pigeonholed it to being like bonus damage or bonus healing, but because they give you the option to do either of them, it makes it more versatile. And it allows you to like adapt it to your situation. So if you have the flames pop up and you need to heal someone on your team, then you heal someone. If you need to do extra damage, then you do extra damage if there's a lot of enemies, something like that.
And level 14 for this subclass. Blazing Revival. My favorite so far. Yeah. Oh! It's your favorite as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Anything that saves you from death is my favorite.
I think mine's whatever the silliest can be.
Yeah.
You play with me, you've seen my style.
It's very silly and goofy.
I am a very silly, goofy pal. Anyways, at 14th level, the bond with your Wildfire Spirit can save you from death. If the spirit within 120 feet of you, when you are reduced to 0 hit points and thereby fall unconscious, you can cause the spirit to drop to 0 hit points. You then regain half your hit points immediately rise to your feet. And you can't do this again until you finish a long rest. I don't know where to start. It's just like, I really like...
I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
I like anything that's Phoenix flavored.
I think it's not as much about the mechanics for me. I think it's more so the lore and story aspect of it that can come from it in the raw emotional moment that you can have in-game.
Yeah.
That your best friend, your spirit that's been with you the entire time, extinguishes itself to save your life. Yeah. I think that's very, very lovely. I don't know. I just don't think the subclass gets enough love. I think it's very interesting, and you become a Pokemon trainer, and it's just a lot of cool things that can come from it. And you know what you're getting into when you choose it.
Yeah.
And you always have a personal heater.
Exactly.
So overall, 10 out of 10 subclass. I actually kind of want to play one in the future.
It's a very flavorful subclass.
What flavor, Dylan?
Oh, it's cayenne with... Why does cinnamon always come to me? I just like cinnamon.
I was going to say cinnamon hearts.
Yeah. Yes! The spicy cinnamon hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So that was the first half of the Tasha's review of the subclasses. We're going to finish them up next time on next episode. So we're going to segue over to our BBEG of the day. So that was the first third of the Tasha's subclass review. And I think I like the ones we picked so far. I mean, I liked some of the ones we picked so far.
Hate you.
You weren't very sold on the wildfire.
No, I just understand that it's really not the best. But like, I like it.
Did your thoughts change at all? Were you sold a bit more?
No, pretty much as it was before. Yeah.
Darn.
How about you on the Twilight Domain?
Yeah, I told you. It went from a C to a C+. That's still passing.
It's okay, you just can't quite comprehend the power of the Twilight Domain, and it's fine, we don't fault you for that.
I just think it's kind of boring, you know?
Mood lighting, and evening gowns.
Yeah, I've been there, been done, it's fine.
Yeah.
Spice it up a little, have a different aesthetic.
No. If I was gonna be, in real life, a subclass, it would be the Twilight Domain.
You would not be.
Yeah, I would want to.
You would want to be, but you wouldn't be.
Okay, are you doing the BBG?
I'll do it. So, for today's Am I the Big Bad Evil Guy? I'm gonna take it away today. Am I the Big Bad Evil Guy? I, male early 20s, am the main source of healing me and my colleagues have. I spend a lot of my personal funds on it, and I also spend a good amount of my personal funds on research. Since I do not care much for healing, and I am rather fed up with being a personal doctor, I was thinking of making them pay for each healing spell slot I use on them. I am low on funds currently, and I have my own goals I need to achieve after all. Most places make you pay for healing services. Why can't I not hold myself to the same standards? I would like some input from an outside perspective before going through with this plan. Thank you. TLDR. I want to tax my party for making me use spell slots on them.
I would say that maybe just, put a hard limit on the spell slots that you designate for that thing, and also emphasize to the party to be less reckless. If they're getting hurt so much that you always need to heal them, then that sounds like a skill issue on their part.
My opinion is, I think actually you should tax them, honestly. Are they not pitching in for the resources to heal them?
Do they know that he needs to expend those resources to heal them, or does he just do it?
I feel like,
Are they
you
also
have to communicate that with
healers?
them.
Yeah, there's some communication that needs to happen.
Because if they have the ability to heal themselves, they should stop relying on it more. And also, are they chipping in for the funds? I know diamonds cost a lot, or Revivify.
Yeah, and these people...
Are you the only healer?
These people may not...
Oh,
exactly.
yeah, I'm the main source of healing.
These people may not be... Yeah, they're the main source of healing. So these other people don't heal, they don't understand the healings. They don't understand maybe the magic either. So... Maybe it's a matter of education and asking outwardly. They either be more careful, or you're going to have to ask for funds to help support the healing.
And if none of that works, then do what you were planning on doing.
Yeah.
Do give them forewarning, being like, okay, you're not going to help chip in, you're not going to be less reckless. I'm going to start making you pay for my spell slots.
Yeah. A flat fee for the level of the spell slot.
Yeah. That'll also help cover the materials.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you'd be the big bad evil guy.
No, not big bad evil guy. It just seems like communication with the other people in the party who are not well versed on the topic.
And if you're an adventuring party with them, they're most likely more than willing to work with you.
Yeah. That's it. You are not the big bad evil guy. The court, how do courts work? A court is closed.
The council has spoken.
The council has spoken, the meeting is adjourned. You are not the big bad evil guy.
The water cooler is cold.
The water cooler is empty. Alright.
I don't want to go back to work.
I don't either.
What do we even do here?
I don't know. Who are you?
Who are you?
Anyways, that's been this episode of Wizards at Work. That's Julie.
That's Dylan.
And our breaks are done. See ya.
We're punching out.
We're punching out.
Where's it clocking out?
Clocking out. I don't know.
Clocking
I'm
out,
pretty sure I say something different every episode for clocking out.
And we're just leaving.
Yeah.